Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another 10 pens currently inked for this week. I think let's go through these briefly one by one. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right we have the Cypress, and this is the Maki-e Dragon. We have a Cypress Eggshell 01. We have a Mike Greens, and this is the Purple Juma Dragon. We have a Mike Green, and this is the Blue Snake. We have a Montegrappa Game of Thrones Winter is Here Night King. We have a Montegrappa Pirate. We have a Morgan Wisser, and this is the Orange Gold Leaf Urushi. We have a Ryan Krusac Legend 16 in the Koi. We have a Gilbert House Pens Grey Box Elder Burl and a Gilbert House Pens Red Box Elder Burl. So I think let's take a look at these in a little bit more detail. This is the pen that I bought around over the Christmas period. It was on Boxing Day last year. This is the Cypress Maki-e Dragon or Golden Dragon. It's a beautiful work of art. You can just see when I rotate this pen, there's lots of gold and silver and red. Beautiful, beautiful coloured pen. It's a flat top. It's a little bit shorter and thinner than I am normally used to. It's about 139 millimeters in length. Typically, like this one is about 150. And if I put that back in the tray, you can definitely see the difference there. But I do love the workmanship on this. I kind of wish it was 150 millimeter long and a little bit more girthier, but I also know that that would have increased the price a lot as well. Removing the cap, I've got a number 6 size Cypress Dragon nib there, engraved nib, and this is a broad nib. You can see though in the size of my hand, it's a pretty good size. You can post the cap. I wouldn't normally do so on a Urushi or Maki-e pen like this. I can unscrew the body and you've got a standard International Schmidt K5 converter. There's also this nib alignment unit. So what Cypress or Mr. Cypress have been doing more recently is, rather than putting threads into the section here that the nib unit screws into, this metal tube goes into the section and the nib unit screws into that. So why do that? So the idea is, if you've got a pattern like this on a pen, you can get that nib to align exactly with the pattern if you so wish. So it just makes it a lot easier to be able to line that nib up. I love how this always aligns every single time. It's a single thread start on that pen. Absolutely gorgeous pen, and I love it to bits. I just wish it was a little bit larger. So come on, Celine, Mr. Cypress, let's get a few larger pens made in 2025. The next pen here inked up is the Cypress Eggshell 01. These are ebonite pens, these Cypress pens. You have this is another flat top pen here, but you have crushed duck's eggs. You've got the black ebonite, which is then Urushi lacquered over all of this, and then you have the abalone strips of Varden applied there, and then likewise you've got the eggshell down here on the blind cap as well at the other end of the pen. But this really is a gorgeous, gorgeous material. Love it to death. It also has a sparkly section and number 6 size Cypress nib. This is a medium nib. Writes a little bit, I find, towards a board, which doesn't bother me. You can't post that cap though, but it is a really decent size in your hand. And if I unscrew that, you can see it's running on fumes. I'm going to have to ink that one back up again. It's a standard International Schmidt K5 converter. But that really is a pen that I love, absolutely love writing with. So there's no question in doubt that I'm going to be inking that one back up again, because it's just one of those pens. If it's not in my main rotation. It's normally in my back rotation where I will have it on the back burner. If I'm running out of ink in a pen, I will grab some of my back burner pens, and that will be one of them. The next pen inked up here is a Mike Green, and this is the purple Juma Dragon. Really stunning. I was on a Zoom call with Mike, and I had casually mentioned to him and asked him if the pens on his website were all stock pens or whether or not they were just showing his work of art. And he said, no, they're all stock pens. They're available for purchase. And I just love this purple dragon so much that I had to purchase it from Mike. If I unscrew the cap, it's a big pen. I've got a number 6 size Yovo. Actually, yeah, this is the Yovo nib. And it's a broad nib. Actually, I'll say Yovo. I want to say... No, that might actually... Yeah, I think it is a Yovo, actually. I have to go and check the order. Do have a little bit of ink there, so I'm going to wipe that off. A little bit of... not ink, really. It's more water residue, actually, from the water evaporating a little bit. If I unscrew the section there, you can see it has a TWSBI converter. So this actually holds about 1.2, 1.5 milliliters of ink. I'm gonna have to ink this one up because it is getting low, but you can see in the size of my hand, this is a really decent size. You can't post the cap, but you don't need to. It's a massive pen. I say massive, but I've seen Mike make some other pens that are truly massive, and part of me says I want one of those massive pens from Mike, but the other part of me says it's never going to fit in my pen trays or pen cases. So I'm always a little bit wary of having a pen that is too large for those. I do have a few. I think the main 3 that I have... Well, actually, no, I think there's 5. I think there's 4 William Shakur Titans, and then there's, I think, 2 Nakaya long cigars that will not fit in my pen trays. The next pen inked up is another pen made by Mike Green at mikespenfun.com. And again, like, this is from the same kind of material. It's kind of a Juma Dragon, but Atlas Supplies, who sell the material, they called it the Blue Snake. So technically it is a blue snake, but like, honestly, you could call that the purple snake if you wanted to. I really loosely am calling this the Blue Dragon, but technically it is a blue snake. And if I unscrew the cap there, now I've got a different nib on here, and the story behind this was that Mike made me a Yovo. Oh, sorry, this is a Bock nib, and this would have been a Bock nib, but Dr. Joe Vitolo actually gifted me this nib made by Engraver India. And that is a Yovo steel nib. So Mike actually made me a Bock section with the Bock steel nib, and also a Yovo section for the Yovo nib. So I have this nib here. Very nice nib. Love that engraving. And again, it's got a TWSBI converter holding about 1.2 to 1.5 milliliters of ink. But you can see here, it really is a oversized pen. I can't post that cap. I do not need to. It's just a very large pen. I love how that pattern can line up as well. Just stunning material there. So I have that one inked up this week as well. One that I've had inked up for a few weeks now is the Montegrappa Game of Thrones Winter is Here Night King pen. And I don't know what it is with fountain pens, but some of the makers just create some really long names. I don't know if that's to try and make us write out the name with the pen when we're writing with it, but it's insane. Just likewise, this pen is insane. It is the Montegrappa, and this is the Shiny Lines Dove, or Shiny Lines material, I should say, celluloid, with a sterling silver lost wax casting overlay. So sterling silver overlay, but you've got this ice breathing dragon here as the clip, and you can lift that clip. It's not that functional, but it will lift, and that breathing of the ice comes all the way, wraps around that cap band there. It does say Game of Thrones, and you've got like the Night Walkers here, just insane amount of details. You've got the dragon's tail just wraps around. It's a piston filling pen, and if I unscrew the cap there, it's a number 6 size, medium 18 karat gold nib. Yes, I can post that cap. I'm not going to do so. It is a very weighty cap, and I'm just worried about. I'm not a cap poster, but I would be worried about snapping this piston knob off over time. So I do not post that cap. And likewise, it's going to be the same with this one, which is a Montegrappa Pirates pen. Again, super heavy as well. So this is not the same celluloid. It's not the Shiny Lines celluloid, but it's the black and grey celluloid that Montegrappa use a lot. With, again, a sterling silver lost wax casting here. You can see the Pirates cap there. The amount of detail, all of the finishing here with the gold accents. You've got the Pirate's skull. You've got a dagger or a sword coming out of its mouth. You've got lots of other intricate details. You've got a pirate ship here. You've got treasure. You've got another skull down here with a dagger going up into its eye. You've got a mermaid here as well. Really is intricate detail. And then to use the clip, you basically do this. You tilt the head back. Amazing pen. And if I unscrew the cap, again, a number 6 size, medium 18 karat gold nib. Like I said, piston filling pen. And yeah, I really do not want to post that cap because it is very weighty. So, but you can see in the size of my hand, it's a decent size pen. Beautiful pen. And again, both of these were birthday pens. The Game of Thrones was from a couple of years ago, and the Pirates was from this year. Knowing that I had the Game of Thrones pen, I just knew that I had to try and get the Pirates pen, and so glad I did. The next pen is a Morgan Wisser pen. Wisser or Wisser, I'm not so sure. He's French, so I'm guessing it's Wisser. The pen is a ebonite-based pen, Urushi lacquered, with this orange gold leaf. Beautiful, stunning pen. I picked this up at the London March pen show this year, and that was from John at St John's Pens. Very glad that I picked this one up. It's a beautiful pen. I love the section continuation there. It's a 14 karat gold music nib. So it's a 3-tine music nib. And if I unscrew the body here, you've got a standard international Schmidt K5 converter. A lot of threads there. But I like that pen. It is oversized. You can kind of post that cap. I'm not going to want to post it because it's not going to post deeply securely. And although Urushi lacquer is quite tough, I still just do not want to mar that finish. You've got Morgan's initials there, or signature. This really is a beautiful pen. As you know, I am loving Urushi, and I'm glad I'm not allergic to Urushi like some are. But for me, that is just a lovely pen to be in my collection. And then the next one I also picked up, well, actually, the last 4 pens here I picked up at the London Pen Show in March this year. I actually picked up 5. Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but this is the Ryan Krusac, and it's a koi. So a lot of time Ryan will engrave pens. This is hand painted, beautiful pen. What really sold it to me was the koi and the cap. The cap is really stunning there, and you'll see here it does say number 33 of 150 there. But it really is a beautiful pen. So very glad that I was able to add that to my collection as well. Picked this up from John at St John's Pens. You've got a green ebonite section there, an RK Ryan Krusac nib, and this is a double broad nib. So this is a beautiful writing nib. Can't post the cap. Section wise, or the if I unscrew, you'll see the Schmidt K5 converter there. Beautiful pen, and just glad that, again, I was able to add this to my collection. There were a few other samurai pens there as well that I did have my eye on at the time. I'm just going to line, I like to line that up a little bit more, like so. Just, you get the two-tone of that wood. The contrast is just beautiful. The next pen I have inked up is the Gilbert House pens, and this is the Grey Box Elder Burl. And this is, again, a beautiful pen. It's a hybrid wood and resin pen. You've got the Box Elder Burl here. You've got the green, or the grey resin goes into a little bit more of a dark grey, almost black. The thing I love about this pen is if I unscrew the cap, all of this transfers onto the section there. And it just seems seamless, and that is great. The nib here is a broad steel Yovo nib, and I find that this is a really nice, comfortable pen to write with. You can't post the cap. You don't need to do so. It is long enough to be written with as it is. But I do know some people like to post their caps anyway. And then the last pen inked up is the Gilbert House pens, and this is the Red Box Elder Burl. So just like the Grey Box, but it's in a red and white swirl there. It really is quite beautiful. I do like that a lot. If I unscrew, again, that red transfers onto the section there. And I've got a number 6 size Bock steel broad nib there. And again, it's a cartridge converter. Holds about 0.7 milliliters of ink. Again, I can't really post that cap. It's not really designed to be posted, but it's a decent size, so it really is perfectly fine to not have to post that cap. So there you have it. That's my 10 pens currently inked for this week. I think let's now go and do a writing sample. So the first pen inked up is the Cypress, and this is the Maki-e Dragon. So we'll do an ink swatch here first. And this is a lovely gold ink. I think it matches the colour of this pen better than the previous ink that I used to have in this pen. So this is the Cypress Maki-e Dragon. And it is a broad. And it's an 18 karat gold nib. And the ink in here, well, I used to have Robert Oster Muddy Bucket, but I've now actually put in Robert Oster Gold Antiqua, which I do love. And it's an ink that I've come back to in 2025, and I am just loving writing with that colour of ink. The next pen inked up is the Cypress Eggshell 01. So we'll do an ink swatch here. Now, I know I am running on fumes on this one, so let's see if we can get through this. I did say I'm probably going to ink this one back up, though. So this is the Cypress, Actually, there's no thinking about inking it back up. I will be. So this is the Eggshell 01. It's a medium, and it's a no, it's not a steel nib actually. It's a 14, and the ink in here is Pilot Urushi Aji Say, which is a beautiful ink, and I will be inking that one back up. A just beautiful colour. The next pen inked up is the Mike Green Purple Juma Dragon. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And different colour of purple. I guess the other one was a little bit more of a blurple. Or a little bit of a more of a forget-me-not colour, really. This is the Mike Green. And it's the purple Juma Dragon. It's a board and it's a steel nib. And that is a Bock nib. And then the ink in here is KWZ Gummy Berry, which is a nice colour of ink. And honestly, I think it matches that pen really well. It's definitely a gummy berry colour. The next pen inked up is the Mike Green, and this is the Blue Snake, or, depending on how you look at it, the Blue Juma Dragon. And I'm not into snakes, so I kind of would like to call it the Blue Juma Dragon. I'm sure I can probably change that name in my pen database. So, the pen here is a Mike Green. But we'll call it the Blue Snake for this time. But you might see that renamed later on. It's a broad steel nib, but this is a Yovo nib. It's got the engraver India engraved nib on this pen. And the ink in here is Diamine, and it's China Blue. I've been thinking about putting maybe a little bit more of a lighter blue in there, but I'm just not 100% sure what colour of blue I would put into that pen. The next pen inked up is the Montegrappa Game of Thrones Winter is Here Night King. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And this is another ink that I like a lot. I don't know how many bottles of this ink I've bought. I know I bought a lot. So this is the Montegrappa Game of Thrones Winter is Here. And it's a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. And the ink in here is a Diamine Earl Grey, which is, I want to say, the best grey ink ever. For me, it is the best grey ink. The next pen inked up is the Montegrappa Pirate pen. And we'll do an ink swatch. And again, loving this ink. So this is the Montegrappa. And it is the Pirate. Or Pirates. It's a medium and it's an 18 karat gold nib. And the ink again is Diamine Earl Grey, which again is just my go-to grey ink. There's a bunch of other grey inks that I like, but that still is my favourite at this moment in time. The next pen inked up is the Morgan Wisser, and this is the orange gold leaf Urushi. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And I have a little bit more of an orangey red inked up in here, and I keep thinking about putting more of an orange. So this is the Morgan Wisser, and it's the orange gold leaf Urushi, and it's a music nib, and it's a 14 karat gold nib, and the ink in here is KWZ grapefruit, but I do still think about putting in another orange ink. I've got a bunch of orange inks that I'd love to put in there, maybe Diamond Blaze Orange, also Sailor Gentle Apricot, or Sailor there's Pelican Edelstein Mandarin's another one. So there could be quite a few that I could put in there. But at the moment I've got KWZ Grapefruit in that pen. The next pen inked up is the Ryan Krusac Legend 16 in the Koi. So we'll do an ink swatch on this one. And you can see here that this is a broad nib. I'm loving the colour on this as well. The pen is a Ryan Krusac Legend 16 Koi, and it is a double broad steel Yovo nib. And honestly, not only is this making me want to get more double broad steel Yovo nibs from Ryan Krusac in a pen, but I'm also thinking about seeing if I can get some double broad steel Yovo nibs, because I think I'd like to actually swap out a few of my nibs with these, because I'm really loving writing with this nib. The ink in here today is Diamine, Tobacco, Sunburst, which is a lovely light brown colour. Got a little bit of a sunburst going on there in that colour. Beautiful, beautiful ink. The next pen inked up is the Gilbert House Pens Grey Box Elder Burl. So we'll do an ink swatch. And I did avoid inking this one up with Diamond Earl Grey. I like the colour of the ink, but this ink, but I also wish it didn't have that slight red tint to it. So this is the Gilbert House Pens, and it's the Grey Box Elder Burl. Oh, getting around the wrong way there. Elder Burl. And it's a broad, and it's a steel Yovo nib. The ink in here is Mont Blanc, and it's Spiderweb Grey. And you can see there's less of that red tint in the writing sample, and also once that ink has dried. But it goes on a little bit more of a reddish grey tint. And then the last pen inked up here is the Gilbert House Pens Red Box Elder Burl. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And again, I like the colour on this ink. This is another interesting red ink I have. So this is the Gilbert House Pens, and it's the Red Box Elder Burl, and it's a broad, but it's a still Cypress nib. And then the ink in here is Diamine, Passion Red, which I think is a good likeness to the red on that pen. So I'm glad that I inked it up with that. I probably would have gone with Diamine Poppy Red otherwise. So I think let's take a look at these pens inked up one more time. We have a Cypress, and this is the Maki-e Dragon in a broad 18 karat gold nib inked up with Robert Oster Gold Antiqua. We have a Cypress Eggshell 01 in a medium 14 karat gold nib inked up with Pilot Roshizuku Ajise. We have a Mike Green Purple Juma Dragon in a broad steel nib inked up with KWZ Gummy Berry. We have a Mike Green Blue Snake or Blue Juma Dragon in a broad steel nib inked up with Diamine China Blue. We have a Montegrappa Game of Thrones Winter is Here in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Earl Grey. And then we have a Montegrappa Pirate in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Earl Grey. But you can see the two variances of that grey, even though it's the same ink. We have a Morgan Wisser, and this is the orange gold leaf Urushi with a 14 karat gold music nib inked up with KWZ Grapefruit. We have a Ryan Krusac Legend 16 Koi in a double broad steel Yovo nib inked up with Diamine Tobacco Sunburst. We have a Gilbert House Pens Grey Box Elder Burl in a broad steel nib inked up with Mont Blanc Spiderweb Grey. And then we have Gilbert House Pens Red Box Elder Burl in a broad steel nib inked up with Diamine Passion Red. So there you have it. That's my 10 pens currently inked for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.